This is actually... Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. My name is Tess. Today's video is going to be 3 eyeshadow tutorials on the new Zendo palette by Natasha Denona. I'm pretty sure you guys already see what's inside. I have followed her tutorials using the similar shades that I own. Finally got the palette and I've been playing with it for the past few days, and yeah, I thoroughly use every shade, try a lot of combinations. So yeah, today will be 3 looks. I'm gonna give you guys some swatches and definitely my final thought. If you guys are into today's video, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share with your friends. I will really appreciate that. Without further ado, let's get on with the video. Hello guys, are we excited for tutorial time? I'm going to first dip into mantra. I want to start to place that on my outer V just to create like a smoky wing liner moment. Next, I am just going to look straight and I want to start to outline the crease area because I kind of want to create like a graphic liner type of a look. I'm still using the same shade mantra and start to build on the color. And you will see me going back to my outer wing liner, back and forth between the crease and the outer wing, just to build up the intensity and the shape. So now you sort of have the shape down. I'm going to deepen the inner part of my eye just to create a little more of that sultriness, just to, you know, define my inner corner. Now I'm dipping into the shade Breathe and I'm going to soften the lines for a little bit. Don't you tell me that you want me back now, want me back. Now I'm taking some concealer on a concealer brush and just going to pat that on the eyelid because I really want to define my eyelid and kind of carve out the space, but I don't want it to be too precise. Now I'm going to the shade Calm on a BH Marble Luxe number 7 brush, and I'm going to take that peachy shade and I want to buff that just alongside the nose, just to give my eyes a little bit of a definition. Taking the shade Yama, that dual chrome glittery goodness, and I want to pat that all over my eyelid where I left blank, and I'm just gonna use my finger and press it all over. I'm taking a flat concealer brush to further pack on the color Yama, and I'm just going to pack it on where my finger could not reach and just further define the eyelid. Now I'm going into the shade Tranquil and I want to pack that on my inner corner. And I'm also using that to highlight my brow bone. Now I'm taking some more Breathe and I'm just going to go back to the line and further blend things out. I'm taking a small detailing brush. This is the Morphe M515. I'm dipping the shade Zeal, and I'm going into just line my inner lash line, and I'm going to use this shade to trace over wherever I place mantra. I just want to deepen the graphic line. Now I'm using a smaller pencil brush. I'm dipping back to the shade Mantra, and I just want to go over where I place Zeal. So for my lower lash line, I'm going into the shade Zeal, and I'm just going to put that all over my lower lash line. Next, I'm going to just follow my lower lash line and start to pull the color outwards, just to create a little bit of a negative space. I'm using a BH number 5 brush, dipping back to breathe, and I want to buff my lower lash line out and kind of soften the edges. Switch to a tiny baby brush. I'm gonna go back into some Zeal, and I want to pull the color out just ever so slightly. I'm going to the shade Relief, and I want to take it on a tiny baby detailing brush. I want to put that just in between the negative space. And then I'm taking like a concealer brush, going to the shade Calm, and I want to buff the color on the brow bone area just to give it more of that peachy hue to tie the whole look together. For the inner ring today, I'm taking the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Amethyst Hour and just line my inner waterline to give it a little bit of a different pop. And pop on some lashes, mascara. This is the finished look number 1. What do you guys think about this look? Absolutely love how this look came out. Comment down below, let me know if you guys like this look, and let's move on to look number 2. I think I have some like ideas, so I wanted to kind of go into the shade Flow, and I want to use like a fluffy brush like this, and I want to go into Flow and kind of place that just a little bit above the crease area right here. You kind of tuck it in the socket and go back and forth, like so. And next, I want to dip into the shade Luster just on my finger. And I want to pat that on the center. Okay, next I'm going into a packing brush, and I'm going to take the shade Equilibrium, just this deep blue. Pack that just on the outer V, and look straight, kind of just extend it. And I'm going to pack the rest of the color on the outer V. Alright, let's work on the shape a little bit. I kind of just want to pull the color up and out. And then where it meets, I'm gonna dip back into Flow just with the same brush. I'm going to mix the two right here. Alright, I think I want to clean up this line a little bit. I'm going to, like a little towel. You can do your makeup eraser or some makeup remover. And I just want this look to be very feline. So I am just gonna clean this up a little bit. I kind of want to do the shade Aura, that orange red shade. It's pretty. It's very, how do you say? It's like a satin. It's not one of those glittery formulas, but it is a pretty soft shade. I want to pack that here. And bring that to the inner corner. All right, now I'm gonna take a little bit of a fluffy pencil brush. You can take any pencil brush. I want to dip back to Aura, the same shade, and I just want to put that on the inner corner. I want to bring that up. You can look at the shine, it's still very beautiful, but it's a lot more subtle. It is one of her satin formula. And I want to put a little bit more on just this inner corner parts. And I want to use the same brush, dip back into Luster, that gold shade. And we are just going to intensify the gold. Alright, last shade that we want to use is in the shade, this is such a gorgeous shade, Yama, beautiful. And I want to tap Yama in the center, just to give it more glittery shine. And look at how it just kind of giving it a little bit of that goldy peachiness. And then we're gonna bring Yama a little higher to meet the blue that we put down. Alright, so for the lower lash, I want to go into Equilibrium, the deep blue shimmer, and put that on the outer corner. I just love how creamy, smooth Natasha's formula is. After you use some ZARA eyeshadow and you go back to Natasha Denona, it's just a different ballpark. Okay, so now I'm going back to the shade Flow. On the same brush, Real Techniques smudge brush, and I'm going to put that on the inner corner. And kind of mix the two together in the center. You know, you kind of bring Flow a little lower. Not too low, but just low enough to hug it a little bit. You know, just below Equilibrium. Like that. I don't want it to go all the way, but I want some of that Flow shade to kind of shine through, and I'm going to work on the inner portion like so. Let's dip back into some more Yama. This is Poppy Cosmetics blending brush. It's in one of their sets. You can take any blending brush. I don't want to just buff Yama around this area just to give it a little glittery effect. Let's tuck it in this corner right here. So there is a little bit of that shine. Okay, last but not least, I'm highlighting the brow bone with the shade Calm. This shade, I think it's a cream powder. Is it a cream to powder formula? I gotta figure it out, but it's a really light peachy shade. You can absolutely use it as an inner corner highlight, brow bone highlight. Feels really creamy. I'm just gonna use that to add a little bit of that hue. I'm also bringing a little bit of that shade Calm just along the side of the nose. Okay, now I want to go back to the shade Relief, pink shade. It's very pigmented. I want to just tug a little bit around this area right here. Just a little bit, not a lot. Just clean this brush on a towel. I always do that, just like take a towel and clean up the brush. And I am going to soften the edges a little bit so there is no super duper harsh line. But you see, like, the formula is good because even when you start just like softening the edges, the color does not disappear. I'm gonna link the ZARA video so you guys can take a look on how the eyeshadow was performing. I did not fast forward a lot. You guys can definitely tell that I was trying to build and build and build, and this shadow just like performs, you know, beautifully. Okay guys, liner and lash. Liner, Peach Fuzz by Colourpop, cream gel liner. ZARA, the same Essence Lash Princess. Okay guys, this is the finished look number 2. What do we think about look number 2? Do comment below. Let me know if you guys like this look. And let's move on to look number 3. Alright, so for look number 3, I want to first go into the shade Calm. Also, by the way, this shade got a little hard pan already. Alright, I'm gonna fluff Calm through the inner part. This socket right here. Just to give it a little bit of a light wash. Going into this caramel brown shade a little bit, just a little bit. I want to put it in the socket. You only need a tiny little bit, just because I want to define the socket right here. And I'm going to back into Calm and kind of pull that peach back. And then I'm going to take the shade Mantra at a flat blending. I want to pack this color on. Very, very nice. Pigmented. Beautiful. I'm starting to kind of form the shape. I want to put it out. I want to start it to kind of pull this color just slightly, ever so slightly, not the whole way through the crease, just halfway around here. The thing about this type of a brush is you can pack on the color on this side, flip to the clean side and kind of blend the edge. So I'm going to flip to the clean side and then pull the color over. I don't want it to be too much. I just want a little hint of mantra around this part. And I'm just gonna pull the color up a little bit to form the shape. This is actually my first time trying out her cream to powder formula. It's actually quite easy to work with. I don't have any issue right now. And then you can definitely like shear it out if you want. So I kind of feel like Natasha's tutorial kind of makes sense because you can really just shear it out so it can become like a light wash of transition type of a color. Oh yeah. Okay, next we're going to just in with the finger. I'm gonna take the shade Relief, this peachy pretty shade. I'm gonna pack, ooh, pigment. Alright, pack this color on. And started to pull it through the inner. This is no sticky base needed. It is just very vibrant, smooth, easy to work with. And I'm going to add the shade Calm, and then I want to pack that on because I feel like this shade kind of settled into more like a red. So I want to top it off with the shade Calm, so it's like a kind of a peachy type of a color. Okay, next I'm going into the shade Breathe, and on that same brush that we use for mantra, I'm just gonna take the other side and I'm going to kind of smooth out the edges using Breathe to kind of clean up the edges a little. I actually did this look like a year ago. I was checking my Instagram and I'm like, you know what? I want to recreate that look because this palette is perfect for that look. Taking some more Breathe. I'm just going to lightly buff out the shade. And I'm going back to some mantra. Just lightly stamp it on. Next, I am taking the shade Aura, Orange Red Duochrome, and pack that on the center part. For the inner corner, let's do the shade Tranquil. Chia. We're gonna do Tranquil right here. Hold the color up, just dab it on the inner corner, and pull it up. Take the leftover. I am going to buff a little bit of that on the brow bone area. So there is a little bit of that shine. Lower lash line, let's dip into the shade Vigor. And I want to go into my lower lash line and buff that over. Yeah, this shade showed up a little more like a winery type of a red. Natasha's mattes always have a lot of depth, so it definitely shows up a little deeper. So I want to go into the shade Relief just to buff the edges out. Same brush, just buff out the edge. Because this red is a lot deeper than I anticipated, so I want to add a little bit of that peachy vibes back. I cleaned up the brush and I'm going to dip into Relief shade right here. I'm going to my inner corner just to put the color on there. Into the shade Calm and just add that on and bring the rest over. Let's go into the shade Aura and I want to add that just on the inner corner. I'm gonna add a little bit of that color back on top. Also, I'm not using any glitter primer or anything like that. Okay, I'm taking this baby tiny brush M515 from Morphe. This like baby tiny brush. I want to dip back into Vigor, whatever that's called. And I want to add the red back. I want to add the red back, but very close to the lower lash line. I don't want to lose it. And I'm going to pull it out a little bit. I'm taking a flat brush and dipping into the shade Calm, that peachy shade. I just want to go below it, tiny little bit, and kind of soften up the edges a little bit and pulling Calm out. And might as well just like take it back on this part. All right, the final step, I kind of just like went into the shade Breathe. I take fluffy brush and I kind of just like lightly go over Mantra. And together they kind of created a little bit of that light green instead of a super harsh like forest green type of a moment. I kind of like the a little bit softer. And I'm bringing Breathe just a little bit along this line. Oh yeah, it definitely builds. You can definitely see it. And I'm winging it out. final touch, I want to go into the red. Just tap a little tiny little bit. I want to tug it here. Just to add a little bit of a depth. Final touch, I swear, I swear. I just really want to add Yama into the mix. Just to make it pop. Just to give it like an interesting, like, bright color. Just a little brighter. I want to add Yama just in the center as well. I'm just going to take my finger, just add a dab a little bit on the center. I just feel like that kind of give it a little bit of the shine. And I'm going back to Aura just to add that orange red back. And I'm going to pull that slightly up. Okay, you guys, so for the liner today, I used the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Zulu just to line my inner rim. Mascara is the same. Lash Princess. And yeah, this is the finished look number 3. What do we think about look number 3? I actually have done this look 2020 in February. I just checked my Instagram. Last year, 2020, I created this look, but I feel like the recreation today definitely is a little different, a little softer. I like to recreate the old looks that I did and see if I can elevate it. And I feel like I really enjoy the way this look came out. And I think everything blended just really nicely. Let's chat a little bit about the palette. We have some cream to powder formula that is my first time trying out her cream to powder formula. We have the shade Mindful, Mantra, Breathe, and Calm. These 4 shades are her cream to powder formula. I really find that her tutorial really makes sense. If you want to see the video where I follow 3 of her tutorials on my eye shape, I'm gonna link it up or down in the description so you guys can check it out. How like the cream to powder formula really allows you to lay down pigment and place anywhere that you want and then blend it out and soften it up. They just like blends on top each other so well. I really enjoy her cream to powder formula. It kind of reminds me of like the matte ColourPop Super Shock, just not as good because I don't really like to work with them, but I feel like Natasha's cream to powder formula is really good. I find it really easy to work with, easy to blend. Everything blends on top of each other. Her formula to be really easy to use. It's smooth. Her matte eyeshadows always have some depth to it. You can use one eyeshadow and build it on the second layer and give it another extra dimension. I just really enjoy this palette. Out of all the shades, I do feel like this shade Relief and Vigor kind of just like shows up a lot darker on the eyelid. So her matte formula is definitely powerful. These 2 shades looks kind of light, but on the eyes it's a lot deeper than what it looks like on the hand, on the finger. And also I feel like Zeal just takes a little bit of time to work with. Other than that, everything just performs beautifully. I have absolutely no issue whatsoever. I love all the colors in here. This is the color story that I really enjoy. The pinks and the reds, I don't have a lot. Especially not in the neutral palette, but I would say the color story really reminds me of ColourPop Dream Street palette, which I declutter. You probably don't need this palette, but I already decluttered the Dream Street palette, and I really just find these shades are quite unique in my collection. I don't have something like this. I have these kind of in the ColourPop Super Shock, but the intensity, the formula is just completely different. I'm going to do like a dupe swatches in a separate video. Otherwise, it's gonna be too long anyway. Just really enjoy also this shade Yama. I do have it in my ColourPop Super Shock, but I really love the fact that I can just
bring this palette, all the shades that I enjoy on the go. If you can get it on sale, even better. If this is something that you think you will like and use on the daily, I think it can be a good addition to your collection. The quality is definitely there. I think the tutorial just like it shows the quality, the blendability, the smoothness is just there. I really do enjoy that. Say like the shade Aura, it's not one of those like super duper glittery like top coat type of a shade. This is the shade from Colourpop. It's called Shy Guy. And this is the Natasha Denona. It's just a lot smoother. It doesn't really have any glitter, but smooth satin shimmery shades. It's not glittery like the Colourpop, but it is really smooth and very, very pretty on the eyelids. It still does show up. So yeah, overall, I really do enjoy this palette. If you're looking for something super glittery, like these glittery shades, super duper foil shades, this palette will not be the palette for you. If you're looking for that super foil glittery metallics, this palette is just not the palette for that. I don't think that's the idea behind the palette. It is Zendo palette is supposed to be something smooth and calm, meditation, like it's about zen, being zen. So I feel like it makes sense for her not to including super like glittery shades. But these shades are very smooth, beautifully pigmented, easy to blend, easy to use. You don't need to stress over it. When it comes to high-end makeup, you're really paying for the formula and experience. And I feel like the ease of use is definitely something that's really, really important. When it comes to luxury eyeshadows, I definitely expect things to blend a lot easier. And also the longevity. I've been wearing this eye look for 6 hours. Still as bright as I just first applied it, so I have no issue with longevity. I didn't even use glitter primer, it just performs. So I'm really, really happy that I have this little addition to my Natasha Denona collection. That is my thoughts on the Zendo palette. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoy the color story and I really like these colors enough to own it in a palette. But of course, if you already have something similar, I don't feel like you absolutely need to have it. If you don't like these shades, these are not your color story, just, you know, wait for her next launch. And yeah, I really hope that you guys enjoy today's 3 looks and some of my thoughts, swatches. Comment down below, as always, which look is your favorite? What are your thoughts on the palette? Are you interested in picking it up? Do comment down below, let me know. And yeah, that's it for today's video. I really enjoyed today's video and find it helpful. If you do, please don't forget to subscribe if you have not subscribed. I would really, really love that. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later.